California Guitar Trio is going back on tour for a 4-show run on the West Coast starting November 19th with Greg Meredith, also known as Leithaus, and Beth Quist, both of whom you may remember from interviews we've done with the music ensemble The Crown. So I've got everyone here in a Zoom call. So hello, everyone. Welcome to welcome to the call. Paul, you're usually the spokesperson for CGT stuff, so why don't you kick things off?
Yeah. Thanks for having us, Anthony. As you can see, I'm a big fan of the Make Weird Music platform and
Thank
happy to
you.
be here.
Thank you.
So, yeah, we've got these shows coming up on the West Coast with Greg and Beth. And, I've been a fan of Greg's for a long time. And I remember meeting Beth on one of the projects we did up in Seattle a few years ago. And also a big fan of The Crown. And I just before this meeting, I was listening to there was a track released last year called "Glitter Tears" from the Crown that features a number of musicians on there, including our friend Anil Prasad. I had forgot that he played on that track, and also Nora Germain, who's played on several CGT recordings, and so. This has kind of been a long time in the making. I think I first met Greg back on the guitar craft courses, maybe 20 years ago or so.
Yeah.
And yeah. So this is I think a natural fit to do these shows together. And it's been a while since we played in San Francisco. We're playing at the Community Music Center on November 19th. And then on November 20th, we're in Stockton at the Hagen Museum, where we played twice before. And that's an amazing venue. And let's see, in Portland on the 22nd, we are at the Old Church, where we've also played before. And that's a historic church that they've transformed into a really cool venue. And then on the 22nd, we're at the barn in Kirkland, which is looks like an amazing space that we have not played before.
Very, very cool. And then, Tom, I know you've been working on some new CGT music, which should excite a lot of listeners. Can you share, what's going on with the new music and what people can expect to hear?
We actually started recording last year, and then I kind of got sidetracked, but I think we recorded 10 tracks and a couple improvs. The 10 tracks are, off the top of my head, I think it's 5 originals and 5 covers with the usual CGT, crazy style variations, ranging from an adagio. Well, I'm blanking on the name right now. Albinoni. Albinoni's adagio for strings, to like Jessica by the Allman Brothers, and even there's an old Guitarcraft piece in there. I don't know if we should leave that as a surprise or not, but we kind of did some new things with it, and a bunch of originals. There's if you go from my brief history, if you go way back to the pandemic when none of us were able to go out in the world, I was working on a solo stick album, and that's when Paul and Bert called me and said, "Hey, we're going to do this tour with King Crimson. Can you come do it with us?" And I said, "Of course, yeah, let's do it." And then we started working on new material, and because I'd been working on this solo stick album, I had all these extraneous ideas that weren't finished. And so when we started looking like, let's do new CGT music, I think I sent Paul and Bert like 17 ideas, and they were kind of like, well, back off for a second. Like, this is too much. But it's a couple of those that we've taken and now kind of refined into CGT pieces. And so we're doing those on the tour, and we did record them. There's a couple of them that keep kind of developing as we play them, and we may yet tweak them for the album. But yeah, there's a lot of threads happening over here.
That's fantastic. And Greg or Beth, I'm not sure who wants to speak up, but you'll be double billing with CGT. So I don't know if many people have seen the two of you perform live together. maybe in these 4 cities, but why don't you share a little bit about what people can expect from your act?
So I've been working on a new cycle of songs where I'm playing the 8-string Strandberg with a mixture of tapping and other sort of more standard guitar techniques.
Take to the streets in revolution. No longer will they remain quietly locked away in skulls and rib cages. No longer will they accept analysis or interpretation.
And then doing some spoken word poetry over top of that from my my recent book, Silence and Surrender. And it's been this incredible musical journey for me, and what prompted it in at least in some part was I would just write these poems and then toss them out on social media, not thinking much about it, and then I got a note from a complete stranger who said that she'd read the poem from which the book takes its title to her father, who was in hospice in hospital. And I thought, oh goodness, these might have more utility than I was understanding, and I better get off my duff and do a little work to make them available to folks who might need them. And so this is a part of that effort. And then sort of what blended the show with Beth was Beth and I are longtime collaborators. We've been friends for over 20 years and longtime musical collaborators. And we were going to do a Crown show in Seattle, and then none of the other Crown musicians could make it. So we decided to do a new kind of set where she did some solo material and I did some solo material. We kind of blended the material in a certain way, and she plays on some of my pieces and I play on some of hers. And I have to say it's a delight to get to hear some of her material, and especially one of my all-time favorite songs in the world, which if you come to the show you'll get to hear. What about you, Beth? What's been your experience?
Well, yeah, I think it's 25 years now, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, what a treat, and I'm really glad we found a workaround when none of the other musicians could come, because I just love playing on your music, and some of this will be on it. Some of this hammer dulcimer here, the trapezoidal shaped instrument, and I'll be playing some keyboards and percussion over Greg's stuff. I'd like to get Greg to do a poem over a piece of mine that I've been working on as well. It's it's not well, I've been calling it set in sand because it's not set in stone at the moment. And so there'll be a fair amount of improv and of course vocals over things and just it's an on and, well, Greg also turned me on to California Guitar Trio back in about 2000, I think it was, and I binge listened after he first played me some of their stuff, and I'm just so happy to be able to play with this lineup. It's what a treat and an honor.
Yeah,
it was after you, Paul. I was just going to say real quick that part of what kicked this off was you came to Seattle and gave a little show at the tavern.
Yes.
Or the Tractor Tavern.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Beth couldn't make it.
Oh,
she had another gig, and I thought, well, what if I reach out to Paul and see if we could all play together? So she could really catch your show.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember at that show, we had you and some of the other Seattle Guitar Circle people joined us for the encore set. We went and played acoustically in the audience, and that was really extra special.
I was really bummed to miss that.
Well, one thing I wanted to mention is that Beth has an idea. I don't know if we want to say exactly what it is, or it can be a surprise for now. But Beth sent us a track of a tune and suggested that we might play it all together as the encore. So myself and Bert and Tom have started to work on it and figure out, how do we, can we fit into Beth's awesome version of that tune. And Bert did a recording, and he added a part to it and sent it to me and Tom to start to work on our parts. And then Tom added a part on Chapman stick and then sent it to us. And I have some ideas of what I'm going to do. But when I heard what both Bert and Tom were doing on top of Beth's version, I got really excited about the whole thing and about all 5 of us all playing together. So I think that's going to be really extra cool and awesome. So I'm looking forward to that.
We're debating about whether or not you get to hear what we're doing before the show, Beth.
Hey, I'm an improviser. I can handle it all.
I'm sure it will be a heroic effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to add, first of all, if you haven't seen California Guitar Trio since COVID, you really are missing out. Not only do they put on a great show, but Tom playing the stick with the band adds this whole other dimension of the music. Not only can he play, or is he playing a different instrument with different sound from the other two guys, but he can play 2 things at once. And so it's kind of like the California Guitar Quartet in a sense, where Tom is playing bass and melody lines. And I think the last time I saw the trio, Tom did a stick solo that just really blew my mind. And Tom's addition to the band has allowed them to pick up a whole new set of songs. Like there's a Pink Floyd cover that we featured on the channel from the opening set with King Crimson in 2022. And there's just a lot more new kind of music that the band is performing. So I personally just want to encourage anyone watching this video. There's only 4 shows on the West Coast before the end of the year, and to see Beth and Greg perform together with the trio should be a real treat. So I don't know if there's anything anyone wants to react to there.
Sure. Yeah, I can just add in about the evolution of adding Tom in the group. we first met Tom back in 2001. California Guitar Trio was playing at the Coach House in San Juan Capistrano, and the venue added Tom on the bill as an opener for the show, and we had never heard of him before. And he played the show, and of course we were totally blown away by his musicality and playing on the Chapman stick. And so we got to know Tom and invited him to do more shows together, and ended up doing a longer tour around that time where we played over like 100 shows with Tom traveling across the country with us. And from there, that evolved into inviting Tom to play on some CGT albums. And then he and Bert started a duo project where they've recorded a couple albums together, and including a studio album called Unnamed Lands. And so it's been kind of an ongoing collaboration with Tom. So about 4 years ago, when Hideo Moriya, our longtime Japanese member of California Guitar Trio, decided that he needed a break from touring, it was a natural fit to add Tom into the group. And so for the past 4 years, we've had Tom with us, and you're right, he does. It is like adding two players. And in fact, there's one tune that we feature that's a classic CGT tune, one of my compositions called Eve. And on the original version, we had Tony Levin playing some fretless bass parts on that tune. And so when we were creating the arrangement for the current trio, I asked Tom if he could play both Hideo Moriya's part and Tony Levin's part, and it's amazing. He can do it, and the people that come see us will be able to check it out in person, live and in person. It's astonishing, but also it's beautiful. I mean, hearing Tom play Tony's fretless bass parts on Chapman stick, it's hard to put words to it. You have to come and listen.
Yeah. Paul's probably gotten most into the stick. Bert was a little more used to it, I guess, because we were doing all the duo shows. But even when they called me to do the King Crimson tour coming out of COVID, it was 3 weeks notice to learn the material. And I'm trying to learn all Hideo's parts. And when I got off the phone with them the first time, I was like, wait a minute, did they want me to play guitar or stick? Because I started life as a guitar player, and I've been through, guitar craft a little bit. And so I would start, but I thought, no, they must be thinking stick. That's what they know me for. So I started working on Hideo's parts. And there was one Yamanashi Blues. And on the stick, because they're playing in fifths and I'm playing in fourths, it's very jumpy. I'm doing all these weird string jumps that I wasn't used to. And it was literally like, I only got 2 weeks left here and we're going to be, out there. So I'm practicing it like anytime I'm awake, to the point where I'm like, okay, I better ice my forearm, take a break, go back, do it again. And then in the midst of that, Paul calls, he says, years ago we played that piece with the Robert Fripp String Quintet, and Trey Gunn did some really cool bass parts on stick. Do you think you can do that in the other hand? So it's not uncommon that I get to learn every song 2 or 3 times, but it's fun. I like the challenge for sure.
Yeah, and you are a much more musical stick player than a lot of other players that I've seen. I don't mean to make, I don't know, be negative or insulting towards people who played the stick, but usually it just sounds like someone poking their fingers at a fretboard, and it's beep boop bap boop boop, and it's kind of like, all right, yeah, like I get it, you're playing the song, but you and Tony and a few other players are some of the most musical stick players out there, and you don't use the instrument I mean, it sounds silly to say you don't use the stick in a traditional way because it's such a non-traditional instrument, but I do love how you approach the instrument and how you bring something new, and it'll be interesting to see how a 10-string stick player, or maybe you play a grand 12, you play the 12, will complement an 8-string Strandberg tapper guy like Greg.
You know what's been interesting? Like because Beth had sent us this recording that we're working on, and it's a common thing as a stick player when you're out playing shows that people will ask you what the instrument is, and there's a couple that they're always like, people say, I don't know, they'll say, "Is that a sitar? Is that an electric sitar?" But another one that they often say is that a dulcimer? And I thought, yeah. And I was like, well, no. But what's really interesting is I think because you're playing with hammers on strings and it's very percussive, as I'm playing along to your recording, I'm like, this makes a lot of sense. This really works. Like the tapping stick thing and the hammered dulcimer thing. I'm like, this is cool. Like, yes. So
Wait, so
yeah.
you all haven't been in the same room yet?
No, we don't believe in rehearsing. We're not that traditional.
It's funny. I just wanted to go back for just 1 second and say I've had a chance to see Tom's evolution with the CGT, and he to my ears he was very musical when I first heard him, but like it's off the charts now, the musicality. The show that they played at the Tractor, I was blown away. It was, wow, this is amazing. And I can only hope and wish that my tone could be that good someday. But I do enjoy the Strandberg a lot, because it gives me this extended range that I don't get on a 6-string even tuned in NST style, and that's just it's a lot of fun because you can really get that deep bass, which is it's so powerful and so moving, while at the same time having some high trebly bits going on, and a part of the reason why with the Crown we were exploring such diverse instrumentation is that my ear kind of craves that diversity. It's something about the richness of sound that really draws me. So I'm extremely excited about this chance to play with Beth and the CGT, especially on Beth's arrangement of a piece that shall not be named. Because again, there's this opportunity for such diversity. I agree 100% with Tom that the combo of the stick and the hammered dulcimer is very, very, very intriguing. I can hear it in my brain even before we've played together.
For me, all I want to do at this point is just remind people November 19th, the tour starts. There's 4 shows. The 19th in San Francisco, 20th in Stockton, 22nd in Portland, 23rd in Seattle. Did I get that right, Paul?
Yeah. Yes, exactly right.
Okay, cool. So double billing, which should be great. And nearly everyone on this call has music on Bandcamp, and I will provide links to everyone's music in the video description. So please check out their music. Beth has several albums on Bandcamp, and The Crown has a whole bunch of releases, those are all really interesting to listen to. They're great. And California Guitar Trio has a couple. I don't think your whole catalog's on Bandcamp, is it?
Not the whole catalog.
Yeah, but there's plenty of releases on there as well. So if you can't make it to a show, please support each of these musicians. Go on Bandcamp, buy an album. Touring is getting harder and harder these days, and artists, especially independent artists like these, need all the support they can get. Anything else you guys want to add?
The tickets can be found on the cgtrio.com, the California Guitar Trio website. All of the ticket links are on on the homepage and on the tour page, so anybody can go on there and get tickets. There's still tickets available for all shows.